Yeah, and the thing for me is, having been watching wrestling for, geez, I hate to say it, 40 years.
No wrong with that.
It's Tommy's one of those guys that has gone through, that has been a thread through 30 plus years of that.
Yep.
And the things that he's seen and been a part of is just unbelievable. And this era of wrestling, I don't know if people really, that especially younger fans understand just how incredible this time is right now. Because man, wrestling has been in some weird places over the years, from the, you had the territory days and, and things just, after WCW went poof, how everything just kind of fell apart. And, we were just all watching WWE and, even up to just a few years ago, like when I first started doing the show a few years ago, I was like, oh, okay. Well, thank God AEW came along because, WWE was just, for a while, to be frank, was kind of boring me.
And
I was watching Ring of Honor. I was like, thank God Ring of Honor was on, because I was like, yeah, so this time is special, and you can tell the guys at TNA and Impact kind of started pulling themselves back out, and now TNA is, and they're serious about what they're doing. There's no doubt about it.
That's what the original TNA was post WCW, right? That was the Jarretts trying to find the alternative for WCW fans who were not interested in the WWE product to come over and watch wrestling in a different format and a different presentation. And did it work all the time? No, but they also, did a $9.99 pay-per-view weekly. Eventually they went over to Fox Sports, and then eventually they went over and started getting more TV deals. And Impact and TNA have had such a weird and amazing life so far. There's a reason why that show last night was called Hard to Kill, and it's been called that thing since 2019. The company has had its obituary written about it years and years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. People have tried to write off TNA, but they've always been an alternative, and they've always been their own company. Ring of Honor, you just mentioned, well, that's been purchased by Tony Khan. So now it's an AEW subsidiary. It's going to be presented in the mind of Tony Khan. WWE is WWE. And then TNA has always been presented as an alternative. And yeah, there have been regime changes. And I would argue that this is probably the best regime that they've had in God knows how long, easily, 5-10 years. And again, they were writing the obituaries, but now people are speaking differently about this company. This is a company, TNA Wrestling, that continues to find new avenues to work with talent. We saw that, they bring out Dorian Roldan from AAA and they renew their partnership, and they're going to have more luchadors on their programming. And of course, in Impact, the joke was, what does a luchador do in Impact? They lose. But now, it's true. There's one time in the last 2 years that I can tell you a luchador was winning a match, and that was the 6-man tag that they taped in Chicago after Bound for Glory. And the only reason they won was because Conan was there. But other than and because Juventud Guerrero was also in the match. But anyway, the point being here, now there's an opportunity for TNA and for AAA to continue the work they've been doing under the TNA banner. And I think that is so important. The partnerships and the relationships that grow in wrestling are so important, because it's no longer a monopoly. It's no longer one company. It is important to see diverse stars and diverse opinions in wrestling. And that's, again, going back to Tommy in that interview, that's why I like Tommy, because he just speaks openly and honestly about what's going on in wrestling and his opinion about it, because he's experienced so much of it.